Hello, this is AbhChallenger with a rant about the movie World War Z. Now, I'm a big fan of the book. The book World War Z was just incredible. I mean, just read it. If you ever get a chance to, please just read it because it's just think about Red Storm Rising, but with zombies. Okay, that's a little bit too simplistic. It's a worldwide scenario of a zombie outbreak without using the fucking running zombies that every modern game and movie seems to want to do these days. Okay, let's cut to the chase. Running zombies fucking suck. Okay? If you're doing a movie, you're doing a game, even your Valve in the future, just don't do it. Okay? Just don't do it. We don't need it anymore. Okay? Running zombies are not zombies. They're monsters. They're stupid. I mean, I might as well watch Team Edward, because that at least makes sense. Running zombies do not make sense. I don't see why they're so popular. I can understand why they're in a game to an extent because, if you have a bunch of zombies coming at you on screen, players don't have time to look at all the individual details of them, but it still sucks. It still ruins the story. I mean, think about it. Unless you have some kind of super cure or, Superman or something like that coming in to save the day and end, how is there any plausible explanation for humanity surviving a running zombie? I mean, seriously, there's no time to prepare. There's none of that suspense that comes from slow zombies. Like if you've ever seen Night of the Living Dead, that's the horror of it, is that there's many of them and they're slowly coming towards you and they're getting ready to kill you and there's nothing you can do about it except that terror. And some are able to survive. Some are idiots and die before even knowing what's going on. And the smarter ones, have a better chance of surviving. That is the good part of those. World War Z, the movie, and this recent trend of, running zombies is just spitting in the face of that. It's just, we're going to have a tidal wave of zombies and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be action. And, no, that's not what it's about. It's supposed to be about survival horror. It's supposed to be, the terror of the individual being surrounded by death and the impact on society and how the government, without any kind of plan or anything, just falls apart. And then, in the book, there is a plan that's completely controversial and it's horrible and ethically terrible, but that's what they'd have to do to survive the outbreak. And that's good writing. And yeah, because it makes you think about what you would lose to survive in such a horrible situation. So I'm rambling on a little bit here, but basically I want to get to the point. Brad Pitt paid oogles and oogles of money for the World War Z name. That's basically all, maybe a quote or two, maybe one or two locations, but it basically was the name World War Z slapped on to a movie and released in theaters. And I don't see the point. You could have called it Tornado Zombies or Tidal Wave Zombies, dude, and it would have been just as relevant, because, I didn't see much of anything that tied it to the book. And I don't see the worth of putting World War Z on it. Of course, it attracted in people like us who are big fans of the book and thought this would be an amazing movie. And yes, the book story, the way it's written, can be an excellent movie, but you got to take a chance. It's got to be longer than the standard movie. It didn't, don't put it in a TV show. That's what The Walking Dead is for. It's got to be a movie or it's got to be a really well done video game. But it can't be what Brad Pitt done with it. It's what he's done. Again, it should not have been called World War Z. If it had been its own separate movie, fine. There was, what was that one, Contagion lately? It kind of sucked as well, but, at least it didn't try to rip off anything else. It was its own movie. It tried to answer its own questions, and, And, you know, it was watchable. It wasn't great, but it was watchable nonetheless. You know, World War Z being slapped onto this just means I hate it that much worse. I mean, basic point is, don't watch this movie. Don't rent it. Don't buy it. Don't waste your time. The time you could have spent watching this movie, you could have be reading a book, and you would have gotten a far better experience than what you got here. Now, for those who are looking to have a zombie experience in a video game, I definitely recommend No More Room in Hell. That's an awesome mod, and hopefully it'll be coming out on Steam soon as of this recording. And, you know, there's various mods for Half-Life, and of course the original Resident Evil games, not 4, 5, and 6, even though 4 was an okay game, but Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, they may be older, but they're wonderful experiences with the classic zombie. And yeah, it's a little bit cheese in some locations, some cheesy zombies and monsters, but the most of it just feels terror. You know, it's got the atmosphere nailed down perfectly. And that's something that Brad Pitt probably needs to learn about if he wants to make movies like this in the future, because I didn't feel any kind of terror or anything from this movie. I was just face-palming like Jean-Luc Picard the entire time, you know? And of course, another thing I want to touch on real quick before I end this, it's this whole thing where they have to have the emotional impact in this movie by having the wife and children be fucking useless. That's what they are. They're fucking useless, and, you know, we can't survive with our dear husband and father. You know, it's just classic 50 cents. Nothing to do with the modern society where mothers and family are often working. There's often multiple income earners in a household, and, you know, it was just almost to the point where it's bigoted the way they treated it in this movie. And, you know, I'm not going to say Brad Pitt's a bigot, but I'm just saying that, geez Louise, get over this already. You know, that's not good movies. That's not good storytelling at all to make them fucking useless like that. You know, make them strong. You know, give them something. You know, they don't have to be the main heroes or anything like that in the story, but don't make them where they're, you know, the classic stereotypical useless idiots, you know? You know, and in a survival situation like that, in the book, and, you know, females, family members and stuff like that, they're treated far better. They're given, you know, they're not treated like they're innocent bystanders that just sit there and get eaten up. They're, you know, they participate. You know, in the book, many of them are soldiers after dealing with horrific situations, you know, and even having to face the undead on their own. And, you know, not like what's going on in the movie where they're portrayed as, you know, there's one that's decently strong, but the other ones are they're just treated like, you know, stereotypical idiots. And I don't like that about that movie, and I want that in storytelling to stop. I mean, this is 2013, okay? It's time for the sexism to get out of this already. So, yeah, to give this a final verdict, I give it a 1 out of 10. I only give it a 1 out of 10 because I could finish the movie, and that's about it. Yeah, it has some action sequences. It has some good parts of it, but it's not worth it. My 1 out of 10 is when I wouldn't even recommend you rent it, and that's really the bottom of the barrel because, you know, Redbox is over right now is $120 to rent. And if I can't even recommend you spend that kind of money, then I'm going to have to give it a 1 out of 10 because that's just the way it is, in my opinion. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not a journalist. I'm not even a reviewer. I'm just a guy ranting on the internet. So until next time, this is AbhChallenger, and good luck to you.